Hi, this is Dr. Whiting, and today I want to talk to you about something interesting that's just occurred in the news. And it was so unbelievable to me that I decided I'd sit down and talk to people about it. Recently, there was an article that appeared in a major health magazine. And in that article, it had some very strange and incorrect information about how we seem to gain excess weight. No one denies or argues that we are a nation of overweight people. In fact, our standard American diet, or SAD diet as it is abbreviated often, is indeed the cause of a tremendous amount of obesity. But it's not quite that simple. You see, in the old days, the days of what I call the Dark Ages of Dieticians, we used to be lectured to, preached to, and made to feel guilty from simply consuming too much food. Now, overeating is definitely one of many causes for weight gain, but it's not the only one, and it's not just that cut and dried. If you look at thousands of overweight people, we naturally assume that they all eat too much food. I assure you, in working with obesity for many years now, this is not the case. In fact, many people who are moderately to severely overweight eat probably half the calories of people who are of normal weight. Why? Because they're desperate to either lose weight or to prevent gaining more. And yet, they still continue to gain weight, and yet they still have difficulty losing the weight that they have. Well, let's get back to this article now. There was this article, as I mentioned, and it talked about how fat cells sit in your body, and when you eat fat, you eat butter, lard, margarine, olive oil, corn oil, doesn't matter. When you eat fat, those cells are just sitting there, and they open up their little mouths and they just drink in that fat. And they grow larger and larger, and we get fatter and fatter. This is absolutely ridiculous. First of all, fat does not enter the fat cell as fat from the diet. That's rather impossible. Anybody in biochemistry or even cellular biology 101 could certainly confirm that. Fat in and of itself, further, does not make us fat. Yes, it's high in calories, and if you are an individual who is calorie sensitive, in other words, your body is sensitive to excess calories, that can be an issue. That can be a problem. Because all fats, contain over 2 times as many calories as any other food that we eat. But the fat cells do not open up and drink in fat. That is absolutely absurd. So let's talk about how fat gets into the fat cell, and how they grow, and how you get fat. While there are several ways of doing this, the primary way that fat is deposited in fat cells is through the process of insulin's reaction upon blood sugar or glucose. So let's run through that really quick. You consume carbohydrate foods. What are they? Starches, sugars, flour products, cakes, pies, cookies, breads, pastas, desserts, anything with sugar in it, soft drinks with sugar. All of that sugar eventually, through the digestive system, converts into a sugar called glucose. When glucose levels, that's blood sugar by the way, rise in the body produces a hormone called insulin from the pancreas. Insulin's primary function is to lower blood sugar, because elevated blood sugar is not a healthy state. In fact, it's quite deadly. So the body has many mechanisms for adjusting blood sugar. So as blood sugar rises, insulin is produced. Insulin first chemically converts glucose or blood sugar into a substance called glycogen. Glycogen is stored in muscles and in the liver. That's what we call reserve sugar for reserve energy. Unfortunately, our lifestyles never really require the use of reserve energy. We can hardly use the energy currently that we have. Now, the body's ability to store glycogen in muscles and in the liver is very limited. And once those sites have filled, we're done. Unfortunately, the standard American diet, which provides extremely high amounts of carbohydrate or sugar-forming foods at every meal and every snack all throughout the day, keep the blood sugar elevated more or less consistently. So once the glycogen storehouse sites have been filled, insulin converts blood sugar into a third substance called triglycerides. Triglycerides are then fats which are stored in fat cells. So the primary mechanism or avenue for weight gain are excess carbohydrates or excess carbohydrate consumption. Now, where does fat come in? When you consume high amounts of fats and carbohydrates, the body will utilize fats for energy and store the carbohydrates for later, which is why fat and carbohydrates, or fats and sugars, are extremely detrimental to those with a tendency to gain weight. Now, how do we know that fats alone don't make you fat? Well, there are native indigenous tribes around the world. I can think of the Eskimos, for example, several tribes in Africa, whose diet for literally birth to death consists of almost 99% protein and fats. They simply don't have access to or do not consume, by choice, carbohydrate or sugar-forming foods. These people are not overweight. In fact, they are thin, lean, muscular. They are the exact opposite of what we would expect if this article was true, saying that those fat cells just open up and just swallow all that fat that you eat. Well, these individuals prove that this is totally incorrect. In fact, fat cannot make you fat at all unless it is consumed in conjunction with excess carbohydrate or sugar-forming foods. There are several nutritional products that can help normalize blood sugar. They include chromium, vanadium, aspartic acid, alpha-lipoic acid, and others. And they may be obtained together in a formula that we developed right here at our institute. It's currently being offered through a Southern California company called Phoenix Nutritionals. The formula is called GlucoCrave Extreme, and we have been using it with incredibly successful results. Not all fats are created equal, however. And as long as we're on the subject of fats, you need to realize that there are some fats that are a whole lot healthier for you than others. And it might not be the fats that you think. In fact, let me close this discussion by saying that almost everything you've probably been taught, learned, and currently believe about fats in your diet is probably totally wrong. If you'd like to find out about what the real facts are about fats, the real healthy fats and the real bad fats, I suggest you look up my videos on fats and oils. And in just a few minutes, you will be surprised, shocked, and amazed that you may have been consuming the wrong types of fats for a long time. But hey, it's never too late to change. For further information, you can reach us toll-free at 1-888-454-8464. And if you have a question for me, you can email me directly at askthedoc, ASKTHEDOC, at healthyinformation.com. If you're interested in that formula that helps to regulate blood sugar and can help with weight loss, you can call Phoenix Nutritionals at 800-440-2390, and they'd be happy to send you some information about that amazing formula that we use every day with our clients and patients at our clinics around the world. I'm Dr. Whiting. Thanks for listening, and have a great day.